Hello everyone! Welcome to the project and its wood stove. I'm just going to do a little unedited video here. I would go out to the river, but it's snowy and blowing outside, and you see what happened in the last video when the wind's blowing. So this video is going to be about several things. What's it going to be about? Can't really say much yet, but by the end of it I'll have spoken about what I think is the number one responsibility that you should have in your life, and everybody has it. Now, what got me thinking of this subject is the fact how I've sort of spiraled from things. I was wondering why everybody was seeming like a kid nowadays. Like, you hear it in commercials and you see it on people's shirts and stuff like that. Now, I say that hesitantly because there's a few things about being childlike that I actually like. But as a good friend of mine once said, be childlike, but don't be childish. And I think that there's a wave of childishness in the world. And what I mean is, I see all these things, the phrases that people use nowadays, like how, like I've heard on commercials, you know, when you grew up, nobody told you how difficult being an adult would be, or things like, or even shirts, like what you'll see on people's shirts. I'm adulting. I'm a child pretending to adulting. Other phrases like that. And what else? Nobody ever said that I would have to choose every meal for my whole life once I turned into an adult. Yeah, to me it doesn't make sense because I don't really make that distinction. To me, you're the same person forever. You just gain more knowledge. But what is it that makes people feel like that? Responsibilities is one thing. And I'm not talking about having jobs and doing work and this fire is getting hot on my arm. But I'm talking about the real responsibility, and that's the fact that everyone has a number one responsibility in their life. And that responsibility is something that they don't realize nowadays. They just go through their life and they think that kids don't have a responsibility, and you only gain responsibility when you are an adult. But the fact is, everyone starts with at least one responsibility. Your health, yourself, and your own body. That is the number one responsibility in your life. Now, only you can control it. And only you have the responsibility, not anybody else. I believe everybody's become reliant on the doctors to tell them what their body's doing, and they don't even know how to feel it themselves. People grow up and they get their responsibilities, and then they see themselves being an adult. But take me for example, I've always had this idea that we have a responsibility for our own health. So perhaps that's why I never always felt like I had, even without working or stuff, I had at least one responsibility. Myself. Now, I didn't have to go and fight for my own food or fend myself off from lions or anything, but I did decide myself what it is that I would be choose to eat or not to eat. Like, should I be eating this candy? Maybe I shouldn't. I don't think I will. and I was given that choice. And because of that, I got a sense of responsibility for myself. Now, your sense of responsibility for yourself, as I was saying, is the most important thing that I've figured out, because, as my notes would say, a healthy person has 1,000 dreams, a sick person only has one. In the US, 60% of people are sick in some way. So it's important that we have our health. I mean, it is unbelievably important, because some of you maybe would say, but I have children, or I have other people in my life, and they're my number one responsibility because I have to take care of them. But I mean, it might sound cruel, but it isn't. It's not. You are still your number one responsibility, because if you want to be good to your children or your friends, then you're going to have to be there, aren't you? A sick or dead parent is not going to be too helpful. It's a very true but cruel statement, I know, but it's so yeah. So we have to take responsibility. That's my number one message in this video. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and stop waiting for something else to do it. We have to look at our own bodies, the physical bodies that we are in, and say, I'm in control of this. Not time, not the doctors, not my external circumstances. I'm choosing to eat this. I'm choosing to exercise. I'm choosing to freeze my feet off in the snow or something like that, even though that's kind of enjoyable sometimes in a painful way. That's just pushing yourself. You also have to push yourself. But that's a different subject altogether. You have to and choose what to eat. You're in control of your own health. Just as simple as that. So accepting, that's right, yeah, we need to get a sense that we need to get off the letting things control us. Like accepting that you will grow old and feeble. Believing in this idea that frailty is inevitable. I mean, unless you're already, you can still do something. Take control of your situation. What's it about thinking that it's inevitable if you're already young or middle-aged even, and you think that you're going to become frail because that's just what everybody does? No. There's many examples of that happening, and there's many examples of people not having that happen, and it's because they took responsibility for themselves. Health is not given, it's earned. You should be willing to work for it, because in the end, it's exactly what matters. Yes. Perhaps I come across as being preachy in this one. Or you could say, what does he know? He's healthy. But I wouldn't be if I didn't take control. And it's not just because I'm young. I've had multiple things happen to me that I've had to heal myself. And even right now I've got a shoulder and it's hurting, And even though I'd like to exercise, I'm choosing not to let it heal. That's also taking responsibility. So it's also about letting ourselves rest and all that sort of thing. I mean, it's very interesting. That's just what I thought I would come out and say because, yeah, it all stems from people not taking responsibility for things because they think that having responsibility is being an adult, when really, you started with a responsibility, and that responsibility is yourself, because you mean a lot to the world, my friend. All the people who know you, they love you a lot, and they want you to keep being healthy. So stay healthy, friends, and I'll see you in the next video.